Namaste everyone. Here's wishing a very happy Diwali to everyone who's celebrating this beautiful festival of lights across the world. May this festival bring you light, love and prosperity, and the festival of Diwali is celebrated as a victory of light over darkness and of knowledge over ignorance, and it is celebrated for different reasons in different regions. Two of the most popular reasons of these are, one, that Lord Ram, after his 14-year-old exile and after defeating the king of Lanka, Ravan, he returned to Ayodhya on this day, and two, that Lord Krishna defeated the Asura king Narakasura. And these are just two of the reasons. There are many more legends that are spread across the country, across Hinduism as a whole. But most of all, Deepavali or Diwali is celebrated as a festival of light. We worship the goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, during this festival and give thanks to her to everything that she has given us over this past year. We light diyas or deepas during the evening, and every Hindu house lights up with all these diyas. You will definitely find a traditional oil or ghee diya or deepa in the Hindu house who is celebrating Diwali, and it is so beautiful to see houses decked up and in flowers and lights, and it is a fun festival for sure. So on this day, I thought, why not bring to you a few book recommendations for mythological fictions or retellings that I have read and loved, and I think that you will love as well. So without any further ado, let's get into this video and let me share with you the 8 mythological fictions or retellings that I think you should definitely check out. First up is the Hastinapur series by Sharat Komaraju. This is a retelling of the Mahabharata told through Ganga's perspective, goddess Ganga, and it starts right at the very beginning. It starts from Ganga's thoughts about the world and how she thinks things are going to go, and then the way she meets King Shantanu and how the whole Hastinapur clan comes into existence and how things go about. Sharat Komaraju has released 5 books in this series so far, and I loved and absolutely loved every single one of them. The first is The Winds of Hastinapur, the second is The Rise of Hastinapur, the third is The Queens of Hastinapur, fourth is The Song of Vrindavan, and the fifth is The King of Mathura. And all of these follow main characters in the Mahabharata as narrated by the goddess Ganga, and it is a delight to read. Through this, and I learned so much about the Mahabharata and its characters and how they are not just black or white. There are shades of grey in every single character. You can't really say that this person did wrong and this person did right. It's a vibrant mix of colors that Sharat Komaraju has put in these books, and they are really fun to read. I'm really sad that I don't see these books a lot around on BookTube or Bookstagram, because they are phenomenal in their writing style as well as the way the author has reimagined the Mahabharata. It's a must read for you. Please do go check these books out. They are amazing. Next up, The Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, and this is a retelling of the Mahabharata from Draupadi's perspective about what she went through as the men in the Mahabharata went about the things that they did during that time. It's really interesting to read because the women in these epics are not really at the forefront. They play an important role, but they are almost always as a background character, as some secondary characters rather than characters who have a bearing on what happens in the epic. And Chitra Banerjee has reimagined the Mahabharata from Draupadi's perspective in such an amazing manner. You would think that, yeah, maybe this could have happened, and we don't know, because myths, epics, they are always told from the perspective of the men. I love the way how Draupadi was up and center in the story, in an epic full of men on every side that you look. Every which way you turn, men. Next up is The Liberation of Sita by Volga, and translated from Telugu into English by C. Vijayasree and T. Vijay Kumar. And I love this book. I mean, I was not a huge fan of the translation, and I did feel like it was getting a little, I wouldn't say boring, but it was getting a little too far-fetched for me. But once I was about halfway through and I realized what exactly the author is trying to say, she not only talks about Ramayana from Sita's perspective, she also talks about some other female characters from the Ramayana. For example, Urmila, who was Lakshman's wife, and then there's also Shanta, I think, who was Ram's sister. She is almost never mentioned in mainstream versions of the Ramayana. And to see that the author has brought together all of these characters and tells such a compelling, hard-hitting story, it changed abruptly halfway through, and I'm really glad it did, because now the Liberation of Sita is one of my favorite mythological fiction / retelling that I've ever read. Next up is The Fisher Queen's Dynasty by Kavita Kane, and the writing in this book is so lucid. When a writing describes an unlikable character and you instantly take a dislike to that character, it means the writing is effective and it is good, and that's exactly what happens in this. This is the story of Satyavati, who was a fisherman's daughter, but she later becomes the queen of Hastinapur, wedded to Shantanu, and she was the great grandmother of the Kaurava and the Pandava princes, and a stepmother to Bhishma. And out of fear of her children not being able to become king, she demands of Bhishma that he remains celibate, that he does not marry, and Bhishma, being the great man that he is, he accepts. And this entire track of Satyavati's trying to survive in a palace where nobody seems to like her, it was highly infuriating for me to read, because Satyavati is not a likable character, but she did what she had to do to survive. And I love the way the author in the Fisher Queen's Dynasty has brought forth all of this, and she has shown Satyavati in a light that you probably would not have thought of before. She delves into the psyche of that particular character, brings out reasonings behind why she might have done what she had done, and I absolutely love this book. Would highly recommend it, irrespective of how annoyed I got with Satyavati, who is an epic character in her own right. This book is something that everyone must read. And then the Shiva trilogy by Amish. I have to say that the Shiva trilogy, it started off amazingly well. The Immortals of Meluha was great. The second book, The Secret of the Nagas, it was good. The Oath of the Vayuputras was longer than was required, but it was good as well. I loved the ending. I cried, I bawled like a baby. But this trilogy, it sort of showed that the graph that Amish was on was not an upward moving graph. You could see the quality going down, but I would still say that the Shiva trilogy as whole is an amazing set of books to read. This trilogy bases its story on the notion that all gods were once human beings. So Amish has taken Shiva, which if you read his interviews and if you read more about him, you will see that Shiva is his favorite god. So he took Shiva, made him into this human character, and the way he interacts with people around him and how we find him relatable forms the actual crux of the story. But it also shows that the strength of one's character does not only come out when you are a god. It shows us that our choices reflect on our ambitions, and they could lead to consequences that you are prepared for or you are not prepared for. Nobody can tell. And this whole trilogy gave me different perspectives to how we can see each human trait, compassion and strength included, and I love this series to no end. I have not reread it since the time I read The Oath of the Vayuputras, but I think a reread is pending if my TBR will allow me to. So now from Indian mythology, we are going to go to Greek mythology. And in Greek, the first book that I will always recommend to you is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. She is one of the most amazing writers of mythological fiction, and I love the way she writes her stories. The Song of Achilles is a story of Achilles and Patroclus, and it's their love story. How they meet, how they fall in love throughout the lifetime of Achilles that we see through Greek mythology. Madeline Miller crafts a beautiful love story throughout Greek mythology, weaves it with the characters that are present in there and the things that actually happen, the grief that will weigh you down. There's so much love and grief in there that I cried like a baby. I bawled, and I knew that this was a book that I was going to hold dear to my heart till the end of time. It's one of the most beautifully written mythological fiction books that I've ever read. Next up is Percy Jackson and the Olympians by Rick Riordan. I could not do a mythological fiction or retelling video without mentioning this. This is chock full of Greek mythology, as we all know. And Percy Jackson, the protagonist, is the son of Poseidon. It's not a spoiler, it's very obvious, it's there right at the beginning. And this series follows his and his friends' adventures and the obstacles they meet, the Greek monsters that they have to get over, the Greek myths and legends that they are confronted with, and now they have to decide whether they want to actually go ahead, and whether the monstrosity, the size of these obstacles will stop them from doing the right thing. Because that's the whole crux of Rick Riordan books, I feel like. He bases his books on kindness, on doing the right thing, and on love and friendship, and there's so much glue that holds all of these together. You could just finish this in about 4 or 5 days, or even less, because they are so easy to read, so much fun. The last recommendation that I have for you is Circe by Madeline Miller, another Madeline Miller book. I told you her writing was beautiful. I couldn't not include this book as well, especially because the cover for this is brilliant as well. I'll put it here. This is based on Greek mythology, and this follows the story of Circe, who is the daughter of the sun god Helios and a very powerful and beautiful nymph, but she turns out to be a witch. So now Zeus is really, he feels threatened, so he banishes her to an island where she practices her witchcraft. And even when she is alone, since we know the ways of the world, Circe invites the wrath of men and gods, and men keep coming up to her, and she finds a way to get out of the situations that these men and Olympians on equal level of threat, they keep bringing to her, and she finds a way to get out of all of that. But what happens when she falls in love with a mortal, and what does she decide to do? Does she decide to side with the gods, or does she decide to side with the mortals? What? I absolutely loved reading this book. I don't think I have any other vocabulary other than to say that I absolutely loved reading this book, because that's what Madeline Miller's writing does to you. It renders you speechless because of the beauty with which she brings that scene to life in front of you, in your imagination as well as in front of your very eyes. You can see the ocean, the island on which Circe sits, on which she practices her craft, and men being stupid enough to go and try to provoke her in when she is just minding her own business. Like I don't have to say anything else about that. And throughout the book you realize that Circe is a goddess in her own right. She's completely enchanting. You can see why men trip over themselves and do stupid things, but you also don't see the point, because come on, it's common sense. I'll just say, if you like mythology, then you should definitely read this book, and every book on this list for that matter. They are simply stunning. They will give you a vivid picture, and they will give you new perspectives as well. I do have a few other mythological fictions or retellings on my TBR which I do plan to read. I don't know how soon, but I do plan to read them. The like Karna's Wife and Lanka's Princess by Kavita Kane, Ahalya by Koril Das Gupta, Mohini the Enchantress by Anuja Chandramouli, which I plan to read this month, Yajnaseni by Pratibha Ray, Sita by Devdutt Patnaik, and Draupadi the Tale of an Empress by Sai Swarupa Iyer. I am really excited to jump into these and to find more perspectives. So those were the mythological fiction or retellings that I had to recommend to you. Which of these have you read? Which ones do you want to read? Which ones did you like? Which ones did you not like? Do you have any more recommendations for me? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please like it and share it to spread the word. And if you like my content and would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button to get notified as and when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and add melodrama to your life. And here's wishing everyone celebrating a very, very, very happy Diwali once again.